Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and this is my review of Spellslinger by Sebastien De Castell. Spellslinger is the first book in a series. It features Kellen, who is desperately trying to get his magic to work. Many of his other classmates have already sparked their bands, and if he doesn't manage to get at least one of these bands sparked by the time that he's 16, he'll lose his magic forever. Early in the book, he meets Various Parfax, who saves his life and turns his world kind of upside down. This fantasy book has rebellions, secrets, magic, and funny talking animals. It has everything you could want in a short young adult fantasy novel. So here are some of my observations in my reviews, grouped roughly from some of my favorite things, and then at the end of this list we'll talk about a couple of my least favorite things about this book. To start with, one of my favorite things about this book, and the big strength of this book, is that it is so fast-paced and it's effortlessly readable. It's not a struggle at all to read this book. It was really simple and enjoyable and light, and I really appreciated that. Another thing I really enjoyed about this book is the characters. With one notable exception I'll mention in just a minute. The characters are all so real. They were sometimes frustratingly real. Like, I'm like reading about a character and I'm going, oh, I know who this person is, and they act just like so-and-so from my life. They're frustrating and they're real, and you could really relate to the characters well. It's a strength, I think, of Sebastien De Castell, is that he can really create a character that feels like a real person. In addition to building characters well, he also did an amazing job in the world building itself. Sometimes world building can get very heavy and detail oriented. In this book, he does such an amazing job of just building the world in such a simple way, but also making it feel real. The caste system really feels real. The struggle between the different social classes, that feels like a real struggle. He did a great job of building this world in a way that makes it feel real. There were also some really funny parts in this book. There were some cute one-liners and some jokes and some quips, things like that, where I found myself actually laughing out loud. I do actually think that he's quite funny and talented as an author in creating those funny one-liners. I forgot to mention this when I said the characters earlier. There's one character who's a little bit frustrating for me because he felt so one-dimensional. He was just angry all the time. You'll probably find him when you get to him in the book and you'll go, oh, okay, I can see that. Maybe you really like that. I personally wasn't as big a fan. Another thing that could be a pro or a con for you, depending on what you enjoy, is that the magic system, I think it would technically be classified as a harder magic system, but it wasn't as hard as I wanted it to be. He had me intrigued at the beginning, and I thought I was going to get a lot more from the magic system, but then I found it to feel softer than I was hoping for. And what I mean by that is I just feel like we didn't get as many specifics about the magic as I really wanted. It's an elemental-based magic system, and it's good, it's exciting, and I wanted more from that. One thing I felt like could have been better in the book was there were just too many twists. Spellslinger felt like it was a little directionless, like Kellen didn't have a real goal to reach for, and so when there was another twist, it didn't feel like an actual twist. It just felt like we were being skewed in another direction. We didn't know why. There was no grand goal for Kellen that felt purposeful, but instead it just felt like there were a lot of kind of random twists. Instead of Kellen trying to move towards something, it felt like a lot of random things happened to Kellen. Lastly, and this is related, there were a lot of rescues in Deus Ex Machina type style, where it was like just too coincidental that someone happened to be there at the exact right time. And obviously that happens in books, but I felt like it happened too many times where it was really unbelievable, where someone was saved at the very last minute, or they figured out the issue at the very last second, and just happened to scrape by the skin of their teeth just a few too many times. It kind of triggered me out of the story just a little bit when it happened again and again. So do I recommend Spellslinger? I do. I think Spellslinger is a great book for someone who's looking to pick up a light read, something that's easy to read, something that's fun and magical and entertaining, but isn't too deep. This world promises likable characters, fun tropes, and a story that you kind of expect. There's nothing crazy, surprising, or unique about this story, but that's the strength of it. It's easy to read and really enjoyable. This has been my review of Spellslinger by Sebastien De Castell. If you enjoyed this content, do feel free to like and subscribe, and as always, stay safe out there.